Hi everyone, I'm Munmun Ganeriwal and I am joining you for the 10 weeks of Yuktahaar project. For people who are new, this project is based on my book, which is Yuktahaar, the Belly and Brain Diet, which is also a 10-week diet as per given in the book. And this is actually a 3-phase program. So there is a phase 1, there is a phase 2 and there is a phase 3. And currently, because we are towards the end of the project, हम लोग अभी week 10 में हैं. What we are doing is essentially phase 3, and the aim of the discussions in this week is about making TBBD more sustainable, making ensuring that you're able to do this not only for just 10 weeks, but you're able to do this for life, because phase 3 is actually a lifelong phase. आप इस phase में जीवन भर रहना चाहिए आपको, एटलीस्ट ऐसी उम्मीद है. एंड therefore the attempt is to ensure that to cover basically most of the real life situations that we people face in our daily life. So what is it about, the topic today? The topic today is all about feasting and festivals. So feasts और festivals हैं तो क्या करना चाहिए? Feasting हो सकता है, those small get-togethers that we have in our families. It could be weddings, it could be birthday parties, and of course festivals. We all know India is like so famous for all the festivals. And so today I thought I'm going to talk about feasting and festivals. So कई बार ये फेस्टिवल्स जो होते हैं एक दिन के होते हैं, कई बार ये जो पार्टीज हैं या कोई ओकेजन है, या फॉर एग्जांपल द वेडिंग फॉर एग्जांपल, इट कैन गो ऑन फॉर 3 to 4 days, बट मोर और लेस ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इट विल गो फॉर 4 days or 5 days. It's not about every day का कहानी. So we need to understand कि feasting and festival में हम जो खा रहे हैं, this is not something that we are going to eat on a daily basis. That is the number one thing. The number two thing is this, that because we are not eating any of these festival dishes or the so-called dishes of feasts, we are not having them on a daily basis. Therefore you need not be very guilty or very stressed about eating them. However, having said that, you also have to eat them in a certain way. So ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि आप next day ऐसा bloated feel कर रहे हैं, ऐसा heavy feel कर रहे हैं कि आपने जो अपना पैंट करवाया है पहनने के लिए पार्टी में, या किसी लड़की ने एक ड्रेस लिया है पहनने के लिए पार्टी में, वो ड्रेस ही बहुत टाइट हो जाए just because you have just gone so wrong with the food of the जो आपका occasion चल रहा है उसमें you have been so wrong that things stop fitting you, or simply because you feel so heavy and you don't feel great. So वो नहीं होना चाहिए. So we don't have to be to that extreme कि चलो सब कुछ खाओ. It's only a matter of 2-3 days, and it cannot also be to an extent where you get so worried and stressed that oh my god, what do I do? मेरा तो सब बर्बाद हो जाएगा. Am I going to gain back all the weight? You don't have to be so worried and so guilty as well. So like with everything, please maintain a balance. The balance is about enjoying food, enjoying the festival, enjoying the companionship, enjoying the occasion, but also at the same time being mindful of the timings, of everything around, basically the quantity, the quality, the 3 hours of TBBD, as I say. So being mindful of that, because उससे क्या होगा कि आप सारी चीजें खा पाएंगे, आप enjoy भी कर पाएंगे. At the same time, you are not going to like wake up feeling bloated, heavy, or with a headache, or feeling acidity and nausea and all of those things. So of course we have covered alcohol yesterday, so I'm not going to cover alcohol again in the feast and festival part, but I'm going to cover, basically I'll just run you through your entire day. So we all know, like people who are in this project, they all know this is a typical meal plan that they follow. One is like on rising, then there's breakfast, then there's lunch, and then there's evening, and then there's dinner. So this is like a typical a meal plan that all you participants are following. People who have read the book, they know about this structure. आपने chapter 10 में meal plan में देखा है. So as I have been saying कि जो chapter 10 का 7 TBBD meal planning guidelines hai, which is in chapter 10, that has to be followed in every situation of your life. आप कोई भी सिचुएशन में हैं, आप ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, आपकी तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, whatsoever it is, you got to follow the meal planning guidelines, the 7 guidelines which are there in chapter 10. And ये जो मैंने बनाया है, this is in accordance with the 7 TBBD meal planning guidelines itself. So if you go back to the guidelines, you will know that the most important thing in the guideline was that when you wake up, you start your day with a warm drink. अब वो drink कौन सा होगा, that will depend on the phase that you are in. So that is something I think people know by now, that there's a phase 1, there's a phase 2, there's a phase 3. तो phase 1 में कौन से drinks लेने हैं, the recipes are also there in the book. Phase 3 में आते आते what changes you can make in the drinks, those things are already covered up and I don't want to go on repeating them. But what I want to focus here more, or what I want to emphasize here, is that please do not wake up and start having your laddus and chaklis and everything. When you wake up, it is important that you start your day right. So even if you are in a festive house or there are parties or whatsoever, morning mein uthte hi nobody forces you to eat a laddu or eat a chakli or eat a bhajia or any such thing. So because a lot of time I am told ki nahi wo to shaadi ka ghar tha to khana padta hai. So when you wake up, trust me, nobody even enters into your room to see ki aapne laddu kha liya kya. Unless you are in a postpartum phase and your mother-in-law is there sitting on your head rightfully. But then other than that, nobody is really going to bother. So if you are like in whatever situation, I said अभी होली आने वाला है, तो होली 3-4 दिन बाद है, तो होली में भी आपको उठने के साथ साथ please stick to your routine. As I said, the first thing should be according to your face. आपके face के हिसाब से जो भी आपका drink है, जो भी आप लेते आए हैं, stick to that. There is absolutely no necessity for you to change your drink, whatever you are having, just because त्योहार का मौसम है या त्योहार का environment है या आपके घर में कोई शादी है, उसके लिए आपको ये चेंज करने की जरूरत नहीं है. And let me tell you that it's almost all the herbal drinks are very very easy to make. So that even if आपके पास कोई practical कारण है कि मैं ये नहीं बना सकता और या नहीं बना सकती because too many people in the house or something like that, then let me tell you that in chapter 10 there are many recipes which are very easy. So you don't even need to go into your kitchen to make them. You can just have a thermos जिसमें गर्म पानी हो, and you can just put certain spices and let it steep and then you can have. So there is actually no requirement for you to even enter the kitchen if that is the case कि भाई बहुत लोग थे घर में and बहुत कुछ हो रहा था and I just couldn't manage. So even for that I would say that you just need to be little mindful that you keep those spices on your bedside. रात में you keep a thermos flask जिसमें गर्म पानी हो, and you can just make your drink when you wake up in the morning. You don't even need to go out of your room for that matter. So I will say stick to your routine. The second part is the breakfast. Breakfast, I will say you all know by now that the TBBD principle is about eating a light breakfast. So again, you're not doing any of those laddus and chaklis and parathas and all of those festive things in the breakfast. But having said that, आपके जो भी आपके suppose for example, let's take the example of a wedding. Now usually weddings have these big breakfast buffets are there, so a huge buffet is there of breakfast. So what you can do is, and what you should do then there is that आपको वो नहीं करना है कि चलो चलो सब खा लो सब खा लो सब खा लो. Just pick up any one item. If you are in a wedding and there's a whole display of many dishes, then I'm sure you can choose just one item to have for breakfast. वो item कौन सा होगा, again it's dependent on your phase, right? अगर आप phase 1 में हैं, then there are certain things that are restricted. In phase 2, then there are many things which are there that you can choose from. phase 3 में तो सभी कुछ inclusive है, but ensure that you're not having like a kachori or a puri or these kind of things for breakfast. Poha is something which is almost there pan-India nowadays in a breakfast buffet. So if not a porridge, then at least for those 3-4 days, maybe you can stick to poha. You can stick to any kind of porridge. In fact, porridge is also something that is nowadays, at least in all the good hotels, they keep porridges in the breakfast buffet. So basically any one thing depending on what phase you are in, but choose any one thing for breakfast, one item only. That will be my second guideline. The third is about lunch, and when I say lunch, then I give you the liberty of having multiple items. So, have multiple things. There can be everything, right from roti, dal, rice, parantha, puri, raita, dahi, chas, non-veg also. If you are a non-vegetarian, then your egg, fish, chicken can also come in the lunch, rice also. So basically pulao, biryani, everything that you would want to have. Like, again, it's not about filling yourself till here. You got to follow the SPAR technique, which is about just eating 80% full. But at least when it is lunch, I want you to ensure that you have a proper thali with multiple items, your chutney, achar, papad, all of those things. So lunch has to be like, as going by the principles of TBBD, it has to be like really wholesome and it has to be substantial. Evening when you come, so again, because we are talking about festival and feast, so chaat, meetha, fried, इसके बिना तो festival हो ही नहीं सकता. तो chaat हमें खाना है, मीठा खाना है, fried खाना है. All of those things, इसके लिए the evening time is the best time. What is this evening time? 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. This time is the best time for all your charts and stuff. किस तरह का chart, again depending on the phase, right? So suppose if you are in phase 1, for example, then the bhel muri or the jhal muri, if you're somebody who lives in the east side of the country, you will know jhal muri. If you're from Bombay and stuff, you will know bhel. So basically the jhal muri or the bhel muri or the murmura, what we call. So a chart of that kind works well for phase 1. Of course, you won't put potatoes in that. But other than that, everything is fine. So you can, have the bhel or the jhal muri in phase 1. If you're in phase 2, then you can go ahead and have a aloo chaat. If you're in phase 3, you can go ahead and have a papdi chaat. So what kind is really dependent on the phase. And trust me, there are so many varieties in each phase. ऐसा कोई भी phase नहीं है जिसमें you will be deprived. But it's just about using your mind a little and then choosing the right things. So any kind of chaat, any kind of meetha. For example, in phase 1, a moong dal laddu works well. You can make a laddu out of moong dal. So moong dal रहेंगे, उसमें घी रहेगा, dry fruits रहेंगे. Everything is fine for phase 1, right? So you can go for a moong dal laddu in phase 1. If you're in phase 2, then you can, go for something else. Then in phase 2, it could be something like, say, what meetha can we have in phase 2, right? So you can have, I'm just not remembering, but maybe like a shrikhand in phase 2. And in phase 3, then you can have gujiyas, for example. The Holi is coming, so gujiyas, payasam, those kind of things is something that you can have in phase 3. So chaat, fried, या किसी भी तरह का मीठा, all of these things can happen in the evening time. And dinner again is something that you got to lighten up. Just because festival है, occasion है, शादी है, ये सारी चीजें हैं, इसके लिए जरूरी नहीं है कि आपको dinner heavy करना है. Dinner में non-veg मत खाइए and dinner को restrict करिए only to 1 to 2 items. So dinner में, why I'm saying 1 to 2 items? So suppose if you're having something like a coconut rice. So जो coconut rice है, that in itself, like it works as a complete meal. So that can be like one item. Suppose you want to have coconut rice for dinner. But if you want to have like khichdi, then the khichdi can be combined with kadhi, especially if you are in phase 2. Of course, in phase 3 as well. So khichdi and kadhi can be another combination. Or just rice dal. So 1 or 2 items, or maybe just 1 item if you're having something like a 1 pot meal, then maybe a 1 item or max 1 to 2 items. So this is the way that you can follow, so that you can sail through the festivals. You can have all the meetha, you can have all the chatpata, fried, everything. All of these things depending आप obviously कौन से phase में है. But the point what I want to make here is that just because you are in this 3-phased program, पहली बात, आपको ये प्रोग्राम रोक कर फेस्टिवल एंजॉय करने की जरूरत नहीं है. एज आई वाज आस्क्ड इन वन ऑफ द लाइव सेशंस, या ये जो आप कर रहे हैं 3-phase प्रोग्राम, इसको रोक कर आपको किसी शादी को एंजॉय करने की जरूरत नहीं है. एवरीथिंग कैन हैपन साइमल्टेनियसली एंड एवरीथिंग शुड हैपन साइमल्टेनियसली. So the idea of this session is only to basically ensure or only to get the point across कि एक डुएबल प्लान जो होता है वो प्लान होता है जो हर तरह के सिचुएशंस में काम आए, हर तरह के सिचुएशंस में ब्लेंड भी हो जाए. So of course you don't have to go on eating like morning से लेके रात तक. You have to still be sane, still be mindful about what you're doing. But as I said, don't go by the extremes. Don't go into a guilt trip just because you're eating good tasting food, and at the same time don't go to the other end of the extreme where you are just eating mindlessly, not taking care of the timings, not taking care of what you are eating, of the quality, of the quantity, basically the 3 R's. So stay in the middle somewhere so that you can enjoy the festival, you can enjoy the occasion, shadi, bya, whatever it is. But at the same time, you are nice, you're feeling good, you are not feeling bloated, heavy, and acidity nahi ho raha hai. You're still, looking so good that everybody's just wondering कि यार सब कुछ खा रहा है या सब कुछ खा रही है पर इतनी अच्छी कैसे लग रही है. So that should be the aim. Are there any questions?
As summer has arrived, how to take mango?
So, as summer has arrived, you should take mango because mango is like one of the seasonal fruit and it's very nice. But हर fruit का time जैसे मैंने बताया है, it's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So anywhere between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. you can eat the mangoes. So it can come as an evening meal, it can come post lunch, it can come somewhere like just before lunch, like somewhere 11:30. So any of those times. Very important is to soak the mango for 30 minutes in water. पानी में mango को soak करिए 30 minutes के लिए. And once you have soaked the mango in water for 30 minutes, then you can have the mango. And of course, I want to just say one more point, which is about thandai. आज हमने एक reel डाला है, recipe reel डाला है thandai का. So just because it's the topic of festivals, I want to tell you कि please go ahead and check out that recipe. That recipe is like without any dairy. Of course, if you want to use milk and if you are in phase 3, you are free to replace water with dairy milk. Otherwise, it's actually a water-based thandai recipe. And so you should really go and check that out because you will be able to enjoy that thandai irrespective of your phase. तो आप phase 1 में है तो भी वो ठंडाई पी सकते हैं, 2 में है तो भी पी सकते हैं, phase 3 में है तो भी पी सकते हैं. So that is what I meant, that festivals are meant to enjoy the good food and you don't have to restrict yourself, but just know the right way of having them. So do include thandai in your meal plan and please share pictures if you're making them. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a Holi meal plan tomorrow on social media, so you guys can actually just, for all the 3 phases. So there will be a phase 1 Holi meal plan, a phase 2 Holi meal plan and a phase 3 Holi meal plan. So आप जो भी phase में हो, you can just as it is start following that plan for 1 or 2 days. आपके घर में जितना दिनों का celebration होता है उस हिसाब से few options will be there, so you can choose depending on what is traditional and regional to you. But do follow that and then you will realize that this is really not about कि diet एक तरफ और असली जीवन एक तरफ. ऐसा नहीं है, दोनों को साथ साथ में मिलाकर चलना है.
I am from US and enrolled in your program just on Saturday and awaiting a consultation. In the meanwhile, I am reading your book. I have a question about Candida and SIBO and how to address it, as it's causing lots of GI issues along with some stubborn weight.
Okay, what's the name?
Rima _78.
Okay, so Rima, I'll just call you Rima. So Rima, if you have already registered for our one-on-one consultation, then these questions will be very much addressed during the one-on-one consultation if you have chosen to consult with me directly or with my team. In either case, these questions will be discussed on a one-on-one level, especially any which ways SIBO and Candida and all of these things, they require a personal consultation. So it's nice that you have gone for that. And yes, so I'm sure my office must have sent you the necessary stuff and they are going to get back to you as per the waiting period and stuff. So I think more than a live, because you have already availed of the one-on-one consultation, I think we should take your question over there and not here.
As we know, we should eat fruit and dry fruit daily. So what time we can include these in all phases?
So the right time to eat a fruit is 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please don't eat it before 10 a.m. जिसका मतलब है morning में उठते ही नहीं खाना है. एंड मतलब बेसिकली 10 AM के पहले नहीं खाना है. The only exception here is अगर आप उसको एज अ पोस्ट वर्कआउट ले रहे हैं, तो अगर आप सपोज 8 to 9 वर्कआउट कर रहे हैं मॉर्निंग में, देन आप आने के बाद 9-9:30 you're taking it as a post workout along with your protein shake, then that's a completely different thing. Otherwise 10 AM to 5 PM is the best time to have a fruit, and that's the best time to even have dry fruits. Again, the exception here is that if you are suppose going for a workout in the morning first thing, then you can soak some almonds and raisins, eat them, and then go for a workout. So that then again, because of the workout, there's an exception over there. Yeah. Okay, so guys, do make the thandai, do enjoy it, and do let me know how well you enjoyed the thandai, and do check out the meal plan, the holy meal plan that we will be putting out tomorrow on our social media for phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, all the 3 phases, so that none of you feel left out and none of you feel ki festival mein maza nahi aaya. So I'll meet you tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you.